Hello leaders of tomorrow, back at you with another video. And in this video here, we're gonna talk about something that is kind of, controversial, but at the same time it makes sense to talk about. Okay, now the question is, and it's kind of like a political debate, people debate about it, but the question is, do corporations really pay no taxes? Okay, particularly large corporations, do they pay no taxes? And I'm gonna say this, as a tax preparer and understanding taxes, that question is a little misleading, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because when it comes to corporations outright, there's a lot of things they pay for just to be operating within the state that they're operating in. Including multiple states, but we're going to present both an argument if they don't pay any taxes and they do pay taxes. So, do I say corporations pay tax? Yes and no. The answer is complicated, and it's complicated for this reason. Corporations tend to have a lot of write-offs, tend to have a lot of corporate loopholes that allow them to pay less tax on profits, okay? But now here's the thing, okay? When it comes to things like licensing, specific special taxes that they might have to pay to operate within the city or the state, when it comes to certain legal ramifications that they have to comply with, regulations that they have to comply with, the state and the federal government makes a lot of money off of these things alone. Not to mention that if a regulator or an inspector has to come out to inspect a particular specification that the corporation has to reach, the corporation has to pay these things, So there's a lot of fees and, licenses and taxes alone that the corporation has to pay just to function, right? And this is not even with tax. This is just with, fees and stuff that has to be paid. So the state alone makes a lot of money. Governments alone makes a lot of money off of this. But let's say, hypothetically speaking, that a corporation paid no taxes on its revenue. Let's just say, does the state or the federal government suffer? Not exactly, because the very employees that the corporation pays taxes, right? Employees themselves pay federal tax, state tax, city tax, and these are all coming from wages that are paid to the worker or the employee. Not to mention that when an employer pays an employee, they have to pay their contribution, which is medical, which is Social Security, which is unemployment. The employer has to pay their side of the tax as well as the employee. So this is considerable tax that the states and the federal government is making, which is called the fuels tax, right? That's unemployment, Social Security, Medicaid. So there's no such thing really as a corporation not paying any taxes or zero taxes. They may pay zero taxes in terms of, okay, after deductions, after write-offs, they don't pay taxes on income per se. But when it comes to employment taxes, when it comes to, again, licenses, legal requirements, regulations that they have to meet, the states and the federal government makes millions upon billions, generates millions upon billions of dollars on these taxes, which therefore goes into the system, to help employ people for roads, bridges, tunnels, pay firefighters, police officers, pay federal officials. This is kind of like not really talked about, and a lot of political pundits tend to use this as a political football to kind of sway voters. So, do corporations pay no tax? No. All corporations pay taxes, no matter how big the corporation is. Now, do they pay directly on income tax? Not necessarily. They can maybe get away with that, but when it comes to employment taxes, when it comes to regulations, they have to meet those things, okay? So it's just a little food for thought. Anytime you hear somebody arguing about do corporations pay no tax, it's not entirely true, okay? They do pay tax. There's some tax they're gonna definitely pay, okay? Just to operate, they'll pay a tax. Just to operate, they'll pay a licensing fee. It's just how it goes, you know? You have to pay the piper no matter what. Anyway, guys, that's the conversation for today. You know, I like to do these videos to just kind of do demonstrations at times, but also talk to you, you know, demonstrations and talk to you, you know, so we have a well-rounded, you know, basis and sharing ideas about taxes, okay? So, you know, I have more information coming for you guys, always trying to give you more free information. You know, it's nothing to educate. I like to educate, and we'll talk more about it. All right, guys, see you later.